As you guys can tell, I'm a very small-time content creator and I really enjoy getting platinum trophies and making videos about my experience. I usually cover the games that give me a nostalgic feeling, but I had someone challenge me to get an infamous platinum, which not a lot of people have. I was actually up for this trial since I really liked the game when I first played it and the platinum was on my bucket list. Well, the least I can say is that it did not go as expected. But more on that later. First things first, I went straight to my trusty trophy guide website to check out the trophy list and them tips and tricks. This game sits at a difficulty rating of 10 on 10 with a total of 51 trophies, of which there are 38 bronze, 10 silver, 2 gold and that shining platinum. The website says that it should take about 50 hours approx to get this platinum, but let's just say it wasn't very true in my case. Also, the reason why this game sits at a difficulty rating of 10 on 10 is because of this one trophy called leben, where you have to finish the game on leben difficulty, which is the hardest difficulty in the game, the catch being that you cannot die and have to finish the game in one go. Other than this trophy, everything looked fairly attainable and our goal was clear. Complete the game on I Am Death Incarnate difficulty, as it's the same level of difficulty as leben. Clear up all the remaining miscellaneous trophies. Finally go on to the leben run. Let's just say nothing went according to plan except for step 1. We start the game on I Am Death Incarnate, where we see a quick recap of what happened in the last game as we get rescued by our friends. We are in this coma-like state and see flashbacks of our childhood. Right at the start of the game, we need to make an important decision which can make or break your experience, which is to choose between Wyatt or Fergus timeline. At this point, I had no idea that there were actually big implications of the timelines and just went with Wyatt earning our first trophy. We then see how traumatic BJ's childhood was thanks to his dad and wake up from the coma after 5 months. We are basically left paralyzed and our U-boat is under attack by Frau Engel, who is one of the best sadistic and psychotic video game villains I have seen after 2's. Well, we might not be our usual self, but our will is strong. We grab a wheelchair and are off to fight them Nazis. I died a good couple of times right at the start since the difficulty was no joke. Performing a takedown while on wheelchair gets us cripple but able. After a good hour of dying and understanding enemy patterns, we clear this level successfully. Frau captures Caroline, who's the leader of the resistance group, along with Wyatt and demands us in exchange of the whole resistance group. We fall right into her trap and are basically captured. She beheads Caroline right in front of us and humiliates us, and even her daughter. Right when she's about to kill Wyatt, Sigrun, her daughter, tackles her while Wyatt grabs a gun and throws us Caroline's power suit. We are all suited up and ready for round 2, while Engel escapes, getting us carrying the torch. We need to free our U-boat and escape the Osmerzer, which is Frau's ship. We are taught the basics of stealth with the hatchet and the lesson to always take out the commanders first. We are also shown the importance of staying low. Most of this section was fairly easy thanks to the stealth, and I found only the end bit to be tricky. We escape the ship and are back on our U-boat. We learn about this hidden compartment in the U-boat called Section F, where some surviving Nazis have locked themselves in and sent coded signals to the Osmerzer, which enabled Frau Engel to locate us in the first place. We go through this area next and get a new weapon, which is basically a grenade launcher of sorts, which I found completely useless, but more on that later. We destroy the radio base underground and get another story trophy. We gave Caroline a proper burial at sea and can roam around the U-boat area, which is like a safe hub where we can complete some side missions. We find an upgrade kit and get a trophy for upgrading our first weapon. We go to a radiated fallout like Manhattan to contact another resistance group which operates here. Well, most of this mission was fairly easy thanks to stealth again and the upgraded Sturmgewehr. I'll just say rifle. The biggest challenge for me was when I saw this big robot and all my weapons proved pretty much useless. I died a good number of times here trying to figure out a strategy to take out this big bastard, and I was basically about to give up on the game because if this was that hard, then how would I complete leben? With some miracle, I came across this amazing video which not only motivated me but also guided me with a lot of tough sections in the game. Honestly, I can't thank the creator of this video enough for making such a detailed video on leben. Definitely give it a watch if you are trying to platinum the game yourself. The easiest way of taking out the robot was using the laser weapon, which we would get if we opted for Fergus's timeline, and I realized my mistake of going with Wyatt. Targeting robot's weak points, I somehow destroyed it and moved along to the next area. We finally meet up with Grace, who's the leader of the other resistance group, and ask her to join our crew and lead the resistance. Well, she has no other option than to say yes, since we are under attack by a group of Nazis and have to evacuate this area, and we get amazing Grace. This mission can be a nightmare if we opted to run and gun through this area. However, thanks to the guide video, I found out about this corner cover strategy and hid in the corner and took out all of the Nazis. We safely get back on the U-boat and decide to roam around the place a bit to collect some upgrade kits. I saw this retro Wolfenstein arcade machine and I just had to try it out, getting retro. We also grab another upgrade kit here and upgrade the pistol to max, which gets us specialist. And I go on to the next mission, which takes us back on to section F to retrieve a nuclear warhead. Luckily, this mission can be skipped thanks to an easy wall glitch, and I made sure to try it out as it will be very handy in the Mein Leben run. Well, this took me some time to get used to, but luckily I managed to master it. At that point, Blasco's been avoiding Anya, his lover, who's carrying twins ever since the start of the game, since he's pretty much a dead man walking and doesn't want to hurt her feelings when he's gone. This game story is really cool as it touches upon a lot of different emotions and topics. We are interrupted by Grace, who wants us to go to Roswell, New Mexico, to take out some more Nazi leaders and plant a nuke in the heart of Oberkommando. From then, thanks to the guide and the upgraded weapons, the missions became more easy to go through. We get It's Freaking Space Aliens for completing the first section of the mission. We plant the nuke and now have to fight a wave of Nazi soldiers and robot, which again proved a big challenge since I didn't have the laser blaster. By this time, I had basically maxed a perk in the game, which got me a trophy. Well, for those of you who haven't played this game, there are a total of 18 perks and we can get a reward for mastering each perk. For instance, maxing the overcharged perk lets us maintain the overcharged health for a longer duration, and the stealth takedown perk increases our movement speed when crouched, and so on. There's a gold trophy for maxing all the perks, which I'll be going for later. For now, let's get back into the story. We successfully blow up the Oberkommando, and while on our way back, we decide to go visit our family home, which was a big mistake. We see a lot of flashbacks of our abusive father and see him in person, only to chop his arm off and kill him getting ripped. Turns out he was a rat and called in for backup. We are captured by Engel and are back to being paralyzed again. The resistance does try to free us, but sadly fail. We are brought to this courtroom for our hearing and are sentenced to death. Blasco, being a mad lad, frees himself, and now we got to take down every single Nazi in the courthouse. I still remember having a bad time when I first played this section on the hard difficulty, but I knew there must be an easier way of completing this section. Well, turns out if you hide under a desk, the enemies will only come from one direction, making the first phase easy, and then you're free to run to the top room for the second phase of the mission. This tactic did work, but I clearly died a good number of times here and knew that I needed to practice it a lot if I wanted to beat Mein Leben. Anyway, turns out this was a bloody dream sequence and Blasco gets beheaded publicly. I mean, just imagine playing this level on Mein Leben, dying only to realize that we only died in our dream and all this effort was completely useless. Right when our severed head is tossed into the fire, our friends grab it and replace it with a dummy head. Our head is then attached to a new super soldier body thanks to our genius scientist set. We are also given an option here to choose between 3 contraptions, and each contraption adds a new mechanic to the game and comes with its own advantages when upgraded to max. I opted for Battle Walkers 1 as I remembered using ramshackles when I first played the game, and well, turns out it would be the most useful for the Mein Leben run anyway. Oh, and we also get a story trophy here. We unlock a couple of side missions on the U-boat, and completing this one side mission related to the Battle Walkers got me plus package. At this point, I thought that the trophy was for completing the side mission itself, and I had no idea that it actually upgraded my Battle Walker contraption to max. With this upgrade, we can stay overcharged without any time limit. I really didn't know about this and thought my health was staying overcharged because I had maxed the overcharge perk. This really proved to be a disadvantage later on for the Mein Leben runs. Anywho, with our new body and abilities, we go on to the next mission, which takes us to Manhattan again. This mission was pretty easy mostly till I saw a robot dog and thought of checking the video guide for tips. I found that there's a relatively easy skip which lets us complete the level quickly, so I backtracked my way and pretty much spent a good half an hour learning the skip, as again it will be super useful later on. We skip to the end of the level and take care of a few robots to complete this mission. We travel to New Orleans next to meet up with some more freedom fighters and take care of the Nazis. The first part of this mission was relatively easy thanks to the video guide. We meet up with Horton and his crew and convince them to join our gang. We get another story trophy and now have to find our way back. The next mission makes us control a panzer hunt, which is a nightmare on this difficulty as the enemies will pulverize the panzer in a second, ending the run. The best way is to hide, wait and bait kill all the enemies. Anyway, we complete this whole section and make it back to our base. Horton tells us more about the Osmerzer ship, that if we want to revolt against the Nazi rule, then we will have to hijack it, and in order to do that, we will need codes to disable its automatic defense system. Since we destroyed the Oberkommando earlier, they relocated the facility to Venus, the planet. Luckily, the Nazis are having a propaganda film audition based on the capture and defeat of Terror Billy on Venus, the planet. We disguise ourselves as a famous actor and make it to Venus, where we have to audition for the part. Turns out the director of the movie is the Führer himself, and well, we pass the audition with flying colors. Up next, we grab a spacesuit and jump in a pod to land on the planet's surface, getting Venus. This mission can be a bit tricky if we aren't stealthy enough or don't take care of the bloody robots and drones. Also, it comes with a twist of depleting oxygen levels, and we need to constantly check on that. I killed 10 enemies in a row while being silent, getting they did not see that coming. We successfully make it back to Earth, where our friends throw us a birthday party. We need to find Wyatt, who's stripped out, and we then get ready for the final mission. We have to navigate through the Osmerzer ship again. The first part of this is kind of similar to the starting mission of the game and is a walk in the park thanks to stealth. However, the final part is literally mental as we need to take down a good chunk of enemies along with the final 2 robot guys. This section was legit a nightmare at the start as I died a lot of times, and then sometimes I would get bad RNGs, which definitely didn't help. Finally, after a good hour of trying, I completed this section earning Osmerzer. We successfully hijack the Osmerzer and go to a TV broadcast where Frau Engels giving an interview on how she killed Blaskowicz. We crash the interview by killing her on air and ask the people of America to help us revolt against the Nazi rule. This finishes the main story and we earn a total of 5 trophies for beating the game on all the different difficulties. We are brought back to our U-boat after the credits roll and we get another trophy. We can do more side content in the form of Nazi target assassinations, which can be unlocked using the Enigma machine, and can also complete the other side missions. Since I didn't have the laser weapon and was on the highest difficulty, I thought why not come back to this content later on and just restarted the game and chose Fergus's timeline. I like the fact that both timelines are different, and I personally found Fergus's side of the story better as Wyatt reminded me too much of Ubisoft since he's stripped out throughout the story. Anyway, I played through the whole campaign again, and this time kicked Hitler in the face, getting Kick It. After completing everything, I went to one of the locations unlocked via the Enigma machine, getting Sightseeing. Since this run went pretty smoothly, I felt more confident that I would be able to complete mein Leben for sure. I thought it would be good to practice the skips and the areas that I found tough, only to realize that this amazing game does not have a fucking chapter or mission select menu, which means that we need to go through the whole game again, making manual saves. Also, turns out you can only save 10 times, so there goes another playthrough. I made a list of the parts where I died the most to save them, and I started practicing section by section. After a good 30 to 40 hours of gameplay time, I felt more confident than ever to try mein Leben. I started my first run only to die right away at the start, again and again and again. Honestly, redoing the runs wasn't even a big problem. The worst part of the whole experience was having to rewatch the bloody starting cutscene a bajillion times, as it is like 7 to 8 minutes long and felt like it's a big waste of time that could have been fixed with just a simple skip option. After failing a good number of times in the starting levels, I lost all my confidence and just went back to practicing the level. In my opinion, the starting section can be quite difficult as we don't have any upgrades and are only on half the health. Anyway, after countless fails, I made it to the Uber Commando level and got spotted on a stealth section by a dog and panicked to death. Honestly, this section turned out to be a nightmare on mein leben, as I would reach here multiple times only to die due to stupid mistakes which never happened on my practice runs. The practice grind continued along with more attempts and my confidence would fluctuate constantly. Somehow on a lucky day, I made it to the courthouse section, which went pretty well for the first half, however ended pretty badly due to me being stupid and getting too comfortable. Since I played super slow, I spent about 3 to 3.5 hours to make it till this point and definitely didn't want to continue the same day, but was definitely happy that I had finally broken my previous record. Days went by and I couldn't break my previous record, and I started playing Far Cry 3 and Assassin's Creed 2 on the side to earn their platinums, as I knew mein leben could take a while to get. I finally beat my previous record of the courthouse and made it till New Orleans, which in my opinion is the most difficult part of the run. I knew if I could just get past this level, I can beat the game, since I had practiced Venus and the final level quite a lot and would not fail them. However, shit always went wrong in New Orleans, even during practice sessions. Well, my fear came true in the form of a stupid, overconfident death. I usually bait the enemies to come to me and one-shot them with the launcher. However, I charged in like a fool, which ended the run. I was really sad but kind of happy that I had made so much progress and the dream of getting that trophy was within my grasp. I started practicing the last 3 missions again, knowing I can beat my previous record any day, and well, that day finally came. I started the run at around 11 in the morning and patiently played through each area and mission and cleared the courthouse section with ease. I maxed the overcharge perk but didn't know about the side mission which was needed to be completed in order to max out the battle walker contraption, which would make our health stay overcharged without the time limiter. I just thought it was a glitch and continued through anyway. I made it to New Orleans again and was legit petrified and was just praying that I don't make any stupid mistakes. By then, even my girlfriend was super invested in the run and she was cheering me on, saying, "You can do it this time." I just kept my calm and completed each section, keeping myself composed. There were of course a lot of areas where I pretty much died but somehow turned tables at the right moment. As I made my way to the last section, I let my guard down, which could have been the biggest mistake, but I somehow managed to get past it. I finally made it to the finale and legit couldn't believe myself. I knew that this could be the run, but I didn't want to overthink and lose it, so I legit took some break, relaxed a bit, and with a calm mind jumped back in. Everything went smoothly and I took care of the 6 super soldier guys and the 2 soldiers at the start and ran towards the basement area. I kept on running from one end to other, taking out any guards on my way until the 2 big guys were left. I took one out but missed the laser shots and all my grenade gun shots on the second guy. Despite all this, I managed to get the big guy using only the rifle and cried in happiness as I knew I had finally done it. I ran to Engel and threw my axe in her face again, getting mein leben. Honestly, this trophy itself is as good as the bloody platinum for me, and it's a shame that it's only a bronze trophy. At that point in time, I basically stopped playing this game as I was moving houses and just didn't get the time to finish the plat. To be honest, after getting mein leben and going through this difficulty myself, I can say that the trophy is certainly 100% achievable and it's not as crazy hard as a lot of people think it is. Personally, I think it's a great difficulty as it really tests your patience and if you can persevere enough to get it. At the start of the challenge, I thought that this would be the craziest trophy in the game, which now looking back in hindsight is not. The crazy ones were yet to come. I still had to get 25 trophies, of which there were 8 collectible related trophies and a lot of grind and side mission related trophies. Since I wanted to make my life a bit more easy, I just started the normal bring him on difficulty, which was basically like a joke at this point. Honestly, I felt like Vegeta when he comes out of the time chamber and faces Cell. I made it till New Orleans, where we need to complete the Panzer Hunt ride without killing enemies, which was easy enough to get. I was also making sure to max out all the perks on this run, as this is the grindiest part of the game. Near the end of the game, I went to the Manhattan map again to complete an assassination mission and gain the Constrictor harness contraption. Well, turns out you can gain all three of them in a single run by completing the side missions and make Blasco an even more deadly killing machine. During this mission, I used my Battle Walker to perform a takedown, getting the sky is the limit. After getting the Constrictor harness at the end of this mission, I used it to take down my target, getting Snakebite. Up next, I used the Enigma machine to decipher the assassination target locations and got Puzzler. I was also following a guide to locate all the collectibles which can be backtracked, and also making sure to max the perks as I went through the different locations. Luckily, I figured out that even if we died during an assassination mission, it would count the perk progress, which made the grind a tad bit easier. We get starting a collection next for finding at least one of each collectible item in the game, followed by audiophile for collecting all the records. During another side mission, we found Ramshackle's contraption and used it to tackle a super soldier right when he was rushing at us, getting Bull Rush. Up next came Ghost for completing an area without triggering an alarm. I also completed all the side missions related to the contraptions and finally figured out why my overcharged health was going down over time on mein Leben. Completing all these got me complete package. Up next we get coming back for more for visiting every district. Okay, so now came more of that annoying grind in which I would just reload areas again and again just to max out all the different perks. All the grenade and explosion related ones were mental to grind through, and I found this super annoying. After losing my sanity, I finally maxed all the perks, getting the max all the perks trophy. But we still aren't done yet, as there's more grind to come. I collected all the toys, getting Toy Collector. I was kind of bored from all the collection nonsense, so I started going after the other trophies, like scoring the highest score in the shooting range to make a point, and got the second highest score in the kill house, getting first loser. I then went on to complete the story mode and got Taste Your Own Medicine for killing the boss robot with an Ubergewehr, you know what I mean, which can be found before the final encounter. Completing the game unlocked the final Riverside assassination on the board, and completing this level gets us Terror Billy for completing all the death cards and across the board for killing all the targets. Up next, I found all the upgrade kits and maxed all the weapons, getting Gun Nut, and completed all the side quests on the U-boat, getting Sidetracked. One of the most grindiest and boringest trophies in this game is Hard-Headed for collecting 1000 helmets in the game. For this, I basically went on to the Manhattan bunker, made a save and collected all the helmets and reloaded the save file again to repeat the process till I somehow unlocked the trophy. Up next came Hail Mary for throwing a hatchet over 30 meters to kill an enemy. Only 4 collectible related trophies remained and I was on to them all. I got Meet the Cast for collecting all the star cards and pretty much got all the other collectibles in all levels except for the Riverside. I loaded the Riverside area and found all the gold, getting Golden Boy, and found all the concept art, getting Art Aficionado, you get it, which finally unlocked the new Colossus. Well, I would say it just didn't go as expected and I had more trouble with the grind related bullshit than completing mein Leben. I really loved the overall difficulty of this game, the gameplay and the story. This has become one of my favorite FPS games for sure, and it is definitely my most proudest platinum. Well, if you have made it this far and enjoyed my content, then please like the video and subscribe to my channel, as it really pushes me further to make more content. Also, feel free to leave a comment on any game recommendations. Well, with that said, bye bye.